People in Toronto are still cleaning up and still talking about a wicked rainstorm last night. In just a few hours, as much as 100 millimeters of rain poured down, pounding the city, catching pedestrians and drivers off guard. And this is just one of those cases when you've got to see the pictures.
Oh, no. How are we supposed to get through this? Oh my God! We're gonna be stuck there like those.
The heavy rain flooded all kinds of buildings and swamped roadways. Some motorists practically had to swim to safety from their submerged vehicles. Water rushed in so quickly it trapped 2 men in a basement elevator. They were rescued by police. And those police officers are speaking to the media right now. Let's listen in.
Well, we were just finishing a call before it, and so we just were at Jane and Dundas, and we were just writing up our notes, and so the dispatcher aired over the call because due to the weather, it was pretty crazy throughout the night. Everyone was tied up, and so it was not our division; it was a division over that we share a band with, and Ryan thought that seemed like it was close to where we're at, so we looked it up and it was, and so we knew that probably no one's going to be getting there anytime soon, so we marked ourselves on it and we headed over.
Did you know that there was water in this elevator?
Yeah, the text of the call was that there was 2 people trapped in the elevator and the water was rising as the call was progressing. As we're getting closer, we can hear the water's going up and up, so we were escalating our ability to get there as fast as possible just to make sure we got these guys before.
So you get on scene, what happens next?
We pulled up on scene and at the front of the building. We had a couple people waiting for us at the front. They let us in the door, and it's a lobby. We walk in and they have a set of elevator doors pried open, and we walked to the elevator and we could see the elevator at the bottom at the basement. The hatch could only be opened about 4 or 5 inches, and they could not get out. So we immediately went to the stairs, went down the stairs where we could see a high level of water, but we couldn't really tell how deep it was because the water was so murky and dirty. So we just stripped our vests off and our gun belts and went in the water. Once we started going down, we could see how deep it was because the door frame was only exposed about 2 inches of the metal of the door frame. So as we're going down, one of the gentlemen passes us a key because the door was locked, of course. Get down to the door, we're feeling around because we obviously can't see where the lock is. We find the keyhole. After some fiddling around, we finally get the door unlocked, and then we both are pulling on the door because the water pressure's now it's pushing on both ends. Get the door open, and we can see the elevators are on the bottom. And thank goodness the room was lit. So we get to the second elevator, which was the one that we knew they were in, and we can hear them inside screaming for help and saying that the water was getting too high and that they needed us. So we started trying to pull the door open, but it was just, the pressure was too great. So Josh immediately went upstairs and got a pry bar. So I'm going to muzzle it from there.
The long one or the short one?
I'll do the long one.
Yeah, so we got the long one, thinking that'd be the best one to use, and we get down, and it was actually not the case, and it was too much length. We didn't get the leverage to try to get in there, just with kind of floating, basically, and bracing as best as we could. So then I had to go back, and there's workers there on the main floor, and there was another officer there at the time as well by that time, and so I asked for a shorter crowbar, and so someone came and handed it to me, and then we swam back, and I'd say by the time we first got there, and then by the time I got the second crowbar, the water risen maybe 6+ inches within a few minutes.
Yeah, at that time we're now treading water because we can no longer touch the ground.
And so I handed the crowbar to Ryan, and so Ryan was first trying to pry the right side, and that wasn't working. I tried, it wasn't working. Then we're talking with the 2 guys on the other side and asking them if they could recall which way the door opens up. And so it turned out it was like a left to right motion. and Ryan had the crowbar, and so luckily he had it because he's a little taller than me, so he had a little more leverage, and he was able to pry it open pretty easily with his force. And then there's a second door that was into the elevator, and that came open as well, and then there was the two guys.
Could you guys see, like, how much of the elevator door could you see? Because the water was really...
It was high, so I would be guessing now, but it would probably be maybe 4 or 5 inches now at that time. By that time we got it open.
So had the water been higher, you might not even have been able to hear the guys inside and communicate with them.
Yeah, it was very hard to hear them already because the door is very thick. So you couldn't hear them until you got up to the door, and we were banging on it, say, where the police were here. You know, we're trying to help you out.
We may have had about 5 or 10 more minutes.
So just to be clear, this whole time, you guys are essentially swimming.
Yeah. Luckily, around the elevator, at least for me, I don't know what it was, but I think there was like some sort of railing or something. So I was able to like brace my feet onto that. So it wasn't like you're not exhausted for swimming and plus trying to pry. I was able to kind of brace myself. It was still difficult because you didn't have leverage.
Were you going in and out like your heads were?
No.
You were able to stay up?
Yeah, we're able to stay up. Yeah.
So you guys, you pry open the door, you pry open the second, then what happens? Because the water level is higher where you guys are than inside the
Yep, so they immediately come out. I mean, they're dying to get out of there, so they come out of the elevator. And then we just all, the 4 of us, make our way back to the stairs because they obviously didn't want to be there anymore, and we had done what we needed to do and wanted to get them out.
But it was more than that, right? Because one of the guys said that suddenly when this happened, even though he was a lifeguard as a teenager, he couldn't swim.
No.
So one of you had to...
Yeah, he was apologizing because I guess he was just in shock and tired, so we had to just take him to the stairs.
So you just grabbed onto him and
Yep.
did you have to swim him over?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was about 15, 20 feet, I'd say.
Yeah.
From
They say about the water in the elevator.
I think they were standing on the railing maybe and keeping their head above the water that way.
So you guys, I mean, like you said, in a matter of a few minutes, if this water has risen 6 inches. What's going through your head at that point? Because you haven't gotten the door open yet. I mean, you know there's guys inside there that they have nowhere to go as that water goes higher and higher.
We have a job to do and we got to do it. So
There's no panic.
Yeah.
We're pretty confident in what we're doing, so it didn't really register. Like, we knew the situation, what was going on, but there was no panic. We're both pretty calm, and we were just looking at, like what we needed to do. We're not thinking of like the big picture, or, things like that. So it makes it easier to perform your tasks that way.
Ever crossed your mind that you might not get in there in time?
Not at the moment, no. Like, you were just thinking of one thing, and you're not thinking of what ifs or like if things are going to happen badly.
What about when you first got there and you're still in the lobby and you can see this elevator below and there's a hatch? Like, how much of these guys can you even see, or are you just hearing them?
we can't see them at all. We just heard them, and we knew on the radio they were saying that the fire department wasn't available because there was flooding everywhere. So they were tied up with that. So we said we have to do it.
It was pretty dark. Like, the roof of the elevator is about 5 or 6 feet below the main floor, so it was pretty hard to even see it. And then to get the door open on the main level, you had to use a crowbar. Like, their workers there were prying it open, but like the moment you release the stress, the doors were closing. So you only had like less than a minute of looking in and seeing what's going on.
And were you having much of a conversation at that point, or was there?
No, there's no conversation. We really couldn't communicate with them on the main floor. It wasn't until we got down to the basement that we can actually communicate with them.
Why couldn't you guys go from the top and open up the latch from the top?
I believe the latch was locked, but if we put ourselves in that situation and we can't get in, then we have another 6 feet to climb out and then go down. It just made more sense to go down.
There's too many
downstairs.
risks with that scenario.
I don't know if you guys have heard, like, these guys have spoken to media today, and they've been telling their version of events, and like, one of the guys, like, he was thinking this could be it for him. He's thinking about his daughter. The other guy is praying to God that they make it out okay. And you guys saved them. Like, how does that feel today? Like, they're very shaken up today, like visibly shaken. How does it feel? You go to do your job every day, a variety of calls, but last night you saved 2 lives.
Feels good. I went to bed and I couldn't sleep. I was very excited and happy, and you get to save a couple of people's lives. it's what we do this job for. And we were just lucky enough that we were close enough to help them, and I'm sure that any other officers that would have got the call would have probably done the exact same thing. So
What shift were you on?
we're on afternoons.
So what time were you supposed to be done at?
1.
Oh, did you get to go home a little bit early, or? was that-
Yeah, we had to come home and get changed because we were just disgusted.
We needed a shower
Yeah.
after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A few of my clothes may get thrown out after that.
Is your uniform salvageable, or did you just need to order a new one?
My boots definitely aren't,
Yeah.
but we'll see what the wash does to the clothes.
This obviously isn't a probably training protocol for officers. What did you call upon to accomplish this rescue that you've done in your training?
You know, we just did. It's very goal oriented. We knew what we had to do, and we just took it step by step. And it's the only way you can do it. It's too many variables. We just get to the first problem and we solve it and go to the next one. And
It just felt like another call, to be quite honest, you know, like especially it was the last call of the day, so you got on a day of answering radio calls, so it just kind of just was seamlessly through the day, you know, so you're not thinking of like we're not thinking tomorrow we're going to be sitting in front of the media and having to tell the story, you know, so it's, yeah, which I think is a good thing, because if I think we thought about that stuff, panic may have set in.
You guys are partners? Do you always ride together in the same cruiser? Or?
the last week we have been.
Yeah. Well, it's a platoon, so you kind of switch up, but just the way it worked, we've worked together for the last few days.
Can you walk me through, just again at the end, when you had the good crowbar, and just explain to me step by step in the summary, like you went back, swam, opened the door. Can you just and when liberated, free those?
Sure. So Josh got the second crowbar, and he brought it to me because we didn't have time for me to swim to go get the crowbar and come back. So we brought the crowbar, and because we couldn't touch the water, we just kind of jammed it in the corner, and I kind of squished myself in the frame and used the leverage and just pushed it open. I mean, both of us were reefing on it pretty good and got it open. So it's just lucky, you know, just happened to work together and got it open.
What if you didn't have a crowbar?
We'd have been in trouble.
Is this from your cruiser, or did the guys on the main floor have
The main floor, yeah. They had it all out. They're already trying, but the crowbars on the main floor.
I see.
So we kind of commandeered them
Yeah.
and brought them down.
Were they just built?
I'm not sure. I don't even know.
There's a flood remediation company on the second floor.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where the crowbars came from.
Oh,
That's their
yeah.
setup today.
Yeah,
Well, thank God they were there.
yeah.
So.
What call had you been at before? Just kind of a routine?
Yeah, just a routine call and nothing special. So just happened to be down the street from it. And yeah, so we were just sitting there writing up. And I mean, there's a lot of lucky factors that, because it wasn't our division. So if we share a band with 12 Division, which was that division. So we wouldn't have known if it was say another division, like a 22-14, we'd have no idea that this was happening. And the fact that the call we just finished was literally right at the border of 12 Division, near where that's happening. Our call could have easily been on the other side of our division, and that may not have been the case. So
how's the rest of the platoon been treating you since you become heroes?
well, we just started our shift, so we'll find out for the rest of the day.
These guys said today that they want to say, like they said they thanked you last night, but they want to say thank you again. What do you say back to them?
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, it's what we're here for, and we were very glad to help them out. You know, it's at the end of the day, you want people to go home to their families, and it's what we want to do.
We understand one of them gave you guys, or wanted you a big hug.
Yeah.
after you got out there. Tell us about that.
When we got him upstairs, he just turned around and just gave me a big bear hug. Said thanks, thank you so much. I said you're welcome.
Are you both confident swimmers? You know, like to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, yeah. I've swam all my life, so.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Was it sewage water, or was it just rain?
I think it was the water from the
Yeah.
river, so it was just dirty, murky. Yeah.
It wasn't pretty, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You guys talk to them while you're trying to open the door? Is there anything you're saying?
Yeah, we just said that we were here. I said, it's the police, we're here to help you. We're trying to open the door, you know, just trying to get them settled down, because we could hear them screaming on the other side, and they're screaming. We still couldn't hear them that well because the doors are so thick in the water. But we're trying to just calm them down as we're prying it open, just to let them know that we're here to reassure them.
So you couldn't tell what they were screaming?
We could hear them saying, help, help, you know, we're drowning, help us, the water's high. So.
And like, yeah, we were telling them fire's on its way, but then once that first few seconds that we're telling them that, then now we're trying to figure out how we're going to open the door. So then that's when we're communicating with them more as to how we're going to get you out.
So you guys are trying to reassure them, telling them fire's on its way, so maybe the next rescue fire's out, they'll say, don't worry, police are on.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point where it's like, this ain't working? I know it probably went super fast, but.
When we had the big pry bar, we knew right away, we didn't have the leverage because we were swimming, so we couldn't stand and pry it open. So we knew right away, get a smaller pry bar. We needed to get a small one. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it all unfolded really
Opened
quickly.
an elevator before, like,
No.
just totally on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, people are using the word heroes. What do you think?
I think any officer in the situation would do the exact same thing. You know, we can hear over the radio in 12 that there's flooding everywhere. Officers are getting out of their cars to check to make sure people are not in their cars in the flood waters. Realistically, I think police officers do this for this reason, is to save people. So
It's nice to be called a hero, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just you know, that's who we were supposed to be doing, you know, and it's nice to help them out and make sure that, you know, it's nice to hear that, you know, they have a family and they're going to be being able to see them. So you don't think about that at the time. So.
Have you thought about today now, just how close this came to being tragic?
I really haven't had the chance. It's been busy and get home late and didn't sleep and had to get up early to come back to work. So sure, once we get on the road and take a deep breath, it'll kind of set in. But
Didn't have time. I was sleeping and getting nonstop phone calls as to what's going on. Yeah. So been a bit of a whirlwind ever since then.
Yeah, do you guys have any plans to go back there?
it's in the other division. So
Yeah. If our bosses allow us. We'll,
it's part of the job. I mean, it's no interest in going back there unless they need us again.
They want to see you, they want to say
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, I'm sure they'll try to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'd be more than happy to see them as well. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
That is a dramatic retelling of a situation in Toronto last night. Those two officers being called heroes for a rescue that took place in an elevator. They actually swam, used a crowbar. They said they had to reef on it to rescue people that were inside in water up to their necks, screaming for help. This is just something that officers do as part of the job. One of the officers telling reporters there that it feels good. It's what we do the job for.